Balancing local culture and corporate greed. What's at stake in our communities? Explore how corporate greed threatens local culture, the impact on communities, and why preserving identity matters more than ever. When local culture collides with corporate greed, a casual chat. You ever notice how sometimes it feels like the soul of a neighborhood or town gets swallowed up by these giant corporations? Like you walk down Main Street one day, and then a month later, it's all franchised coffee shops and chain stores, and the little family-owned joints you used to love are nowhere to be found. It's kind of heartbreaking when you think about it, right? I mean, there's really something special about local culture. The food, the festivals, those quirky traditions only the locals get, that just can't be replicated by any faceless corporation. And yet corporate greed keeps creeping in. It's that relentless push for bigger profits, faster expansion, and squeezing out anyone who doesn't toe the line. I'm not saying all companies are bad. Some do bring jobs and opportunities. But the problem is when profit becomes the only priority, local culture gets treated as an obstacle or an afterthought, rather than the treasure it really is. Take a small town, for example, where a local farmer's market has been around for decades. It's more than just a place to buy fresh produce. It's a spot where neighbors connect, kids learn about where their food comes from, and traditions are passed along. Now imagine a big corporation swoops in with a giant supermarket chain that undercuts the farmers' prices, sells mass-produced goods, and runs the whole thing like a soulless machine. The market dwindles, local farmers pack up their stalls, and that unique vibe vanishes. There's also this growing tension between local governments and corporations. Sometimes local officials want to protect their communities, keep that cultural identity alive, but then they might get pressured by corporate interests, or face those tricky decisions where jobs mean everything to their constituents. It's a tough balancing act, no doubt about that. And speaking of pressure, have you noticed how conspiracy theories pop up around these issues? Like when there are fears of a government conspiracy working behind the scenes with big corporations to push certain agendas, or claims that pharmaceutical profits are prioritized over public welfare. It's a sign of mistrust, even if some of those stories are untrue allegations. People want explanations, and when things feel unfair, it's easy to point fingers. But coming back to culture, here's the thing. Local traditions and stories are the glue that holds communities together. Whether it's a regional dish handed down for generations or a neighborhood music festival that fills the streets with life, these experiences can't be replicated by corporate boardrooms. The challenge is supporting and preserving what makes a place unique while still embracing progress. Support small businesses whenever you can. Even just grabbing your morning coffee from a local cafe instead of the big chain helps keep those mom-and-pop shops alive. Attend community events, festivals, art fairs, farmers markets. These aren't just fun, they make a big difference in preserving culture. Stay informed about local government decisions and voice your opinion when developments threaten your community's identity. Be mindful, consumers. Look beyond the lowest price and remember the stories and people behind the products. One way to get inspired about the tension between individual ambition, community values, and the forces of greed is through storytelling. I recently came across a novel called The Ultimate Frame by Andrew M. Semple that brilliantly captures elements of this struggle, showing how characters navigate the fine line between personal gain and protecting what matters most to their local world. It's a thrilling read that gives you a fresh perspective on how complicated and nuanced these issues can be. If you're curious to explore this story, discover this thrilling novel by Andrew M. Semple today. It's a great reminder that behind every headline about corporate takeovers or cultural shifts, there are real people, real emotions, and real stakes. At the end of the day, supporting local culture isn't just about nostalgia. It's about preserving identity and community strength in the face of overwhelming corporate pressure. So next time you see a new big box store replacing that old bookstore or diner, maybe stop for a moment and remember what might be lost, and what you can do to help keep your town's true heart beating strong.